the anime series, aired from 2001 to 2002 and is a Madhouse production, and this is the second anime adaptation of the X manga by Clamp. Many anime from the early 2000s haven't aged well, and the X anime series is one of those animes from the early 2000s that actually still looks good today. Now, since this is an adaptation of a Clamp property, of course Madhouse would follow the stylistic character designs that Clamp is known for in many of their other works. So, of course, this anime series would have the Clamp stamp on it. Now, there are some visual effects in the X anime series that I didn't find impressive, but they did not look like shit either. I thought they were okay, but for the most part, the X anime series is animated very well for its time. Naoki Sato's music is serviceable at best and repetitive at worst. By the time I got a quarter into X, I started getting irritated whenever these few themes pop in because of how often they are used. And that's my only irritation with the soundtrack. But what I love about X's soundtrack is the opening theme. This opening theme gets me hyped up to watch an episode of X. I'm serious. And it's actually the one thing I look forward to whenever I'm done watching an episode of X. The voice acting for the original Japanese cast and the English dub cast are both fine, with standout performances and some okay performances on both sides. Now, while the X anime series is the superior anime adaptation in comparison to the X anime film that came 5 years before it, loaded with many flaws, I also have a lot of issues with the X anime series. Now, since the X anime series has 24 episodes in it, not counting the OVA release before the show aired, that means the plot has better pacing than the anime film by a landslide, because the X anime series lays out things slowly. I find it kind of funny that the X anime film has a rushed plot, whereas the X anime series has a slow-moving plot. They're complete polar opposites. Now, what about the characters? They had zero characterization in the X anime film, so that obviously means that the characters are better off in the X anime series. And that's true. Although I do have some problems with the characters in this version too. Let's start with Kamui, who I think right off the bat was a cool character, and he had a bit of a backstory going for him. But as the show goes on, I didn't really find him that interesting. I wish there was more to the character than just a simple backstory. Also, when he got angsty, I found him a bit unbearable in those places. And I can almost say the same thing about Fuma, except one major difference. As the X anime series progressed, I didn't find Kamui that interesting given his role in Destiny down the road. As for Fuma, I started to not like him. Now, as for the supporting characters like the Dragons of Heaven and the Dragons of Earth, I noticed the Dragons of Heaven have plenty of screen time, and I did find those characters likable. But as for the Dragons of Earth, I wish they had equal screen time than the Dragons of Heaven. Plus, I didn't find many of the Dragons of Earth that interesting as characters. The X anime series had a lot of potential to be a good anime, and even though it was well animated for the time as well as having a fine soundtrack, that was not enough to win me over with the X anime series. This is a far better adaptation in comparison to the X film, but still, this version has problems too. I don't think there was enough characterization for a number of characters, which made me less invested as the series went on. And I found the conclusion to have little payoff, which I wasn't disappointed because of the slow pacing. And as an overall result, this is not an anime I plan on rewatching that much. I am shooting a 5.5 out of 10 for the X anime series. I just realized I have not reviewed Neon Genesis Evangelion, Death and Rebirth, and the End Evangelion. Well, those are coming up. And since I've been talking about some X-Men films, as well as the X film and the X anime series that I just finished reviewing, I guess I can talk about another topic involving the letter X. I'll let you guess on which one that is. So until then, good day and good night.